My name's Guy Kesterman, and I've been testing all sorts of bikes for nearly 25 years. And today, the bike I'm on is my own long-term test Vielo V+1 gravel bike. Bike I absolutely love, and you know, I built up specifically for my taste last summer, and I've been riding as much as I can ever since. So, just wanted to give you a quick talk through on the details of the bike and the kit I put on there. Vielo V+1 frame comes in two colourways. This is, I think they call it midnight blue. This is a more subtle one, surprisingly for me. But you still, the other bike comes in that sort of sky blue colour. But you still got the details there. I mean, I've gone around the frame before, sort of showing the full details on it. But you know, things like that little chainring protector there. You know, those super skinny stays. I mean, it is a beautiful, siuch a beautiful ride. Watch the live ride reviews, watch the tech talk round. The frame comes in just shy of a kilo for this size. It's a medium-sized bike, and this whole bike is, without pedals on, without the cage on, is just under 8 kilos, and that's despite having it's actually a mountain bike power meter on there, an old Quark XX1, which I just had lying around. And since I did a fitness session with Craig from Vit4, I've become a bit of a power geek. I haven't got much power, but I like to know how much I'm using and try and improve, you know, make every sort of little sprint count a bit more, and it also lets me know when I'm just hashing out junk as well. That might be changing coming up, but so far really enjoying it. In terms of running gear, it's standard SRAM Force, so there's a cable on there. Not gonna lie, I would absolutely love Axis on here. Axis on the Evil test bike I had was amazing. Loved it on the road as well, and the function is flawless, and I love the ability to kind of mix and match, put the seat post in there and stuff. But SRAM Force was all that was available when I was building it up, and you know, budgets and all that. It does absolutely fine. I've had a set of SRAM Force 1 on my road bike for years now without a single issue. In terms of cockpit, I've gone for super wide Ritchie bars with a nice flare on them, so for maximum control. These are a 48 Ritchie WCS bar. I stayed with the Vielo stem just because it's a really nice shape, and then I've got my little alcohol-free Visphere top cap on there, and that's a 9 You Are What You Drink, I think, adapter they're called. You can put whatever beer you want on there, but as I'm a complete lightweight, I went for the alcohol-free. On here you've got the new Wahoo Roam. I'm testing this for Cycling News and Bike Perfect. Superb. I mean, I've had an element bolt for a while on my road bike, and it's just been absolutely trouble-free. I used to test a lot of GPSs for magazines, and it was a nightmare until you got to the Wahoos. They were just always such a breath of fresh air to use, and this is no different. You know, you just got all sorts of different screens you can go through here. You know, routing, and it just uploads, it just connects. It just, you know, as soon as I'm riding, the power meter's connected. There's no drama with that. It's just great. It's just, you know, absolute no hassle, but with a really high level of data if you want it. At the back here, for once I've not got a Brook saddle. I mean, I built it with a Brook saddle. I normally ride it with a Brook saddle, but I've got this WTB SL8 on test at the moment. Really nice saddle, classic WTB shape with that kick up at the rear and that drop nose. Gives you a really strong climbing position, and carbon rails, because fancy. And this is a bike I like to keep light, so there we go. And I normally really struggle finding seat packs I like, but this little Bergsman one, it's just right. It just hides away. Literally the amount of hours I've lost in my life from arsing about with seat packs trying to get them right is I don't want to think about. But this is a keeper. I really like the way it just sits under the saddle there. It's just unobtrusive, doesn't rattle, holds a tube, CO2, and my little Dynaplug cassettes in there as well. Because obviously I'm running tubeless on here, and everything just fits neatly in there, and it's out of the way. And I mean, literally decades I've spent looking for a nice little seat pack like that, and there it is for now. I'll probably change my mind, but yeah, Vielo seat post. I have tried the Ritchie in there as well that matches the bars, but this is actually more secure and it's lighter, so it's you know, it's an alloy shaft, so it's nice and durable. And if I put a bike packing bag on there, but actually that's the lightest one I've used in there so far. And then we get down to the wheels. Hunt
It's their gravel specific wheel set, and so it's a little tougher than their standard road wheels and a little heavier, but you know, this bike, you know, well, I treat it like a mountain bike essentially, so it's good to have that extra bit of strength in there, and they're still bloody light and they ride beautifully. Running it with muck-off valves at the moment, really good full CNC'd alloyed valves. They keep nice and clean. I like the fact you can get them in a bunch of colours, even though these probably don't actually match a blue bike, but there we go. And I'm using muck-off sealant as well inside. They're no hassle sealant, because I've tested a lot of sealants, and that's the one that does the job pretty much every time. You know, it's thick enough to seal a decent sized hole, but it's fast enough that I'm not losing pressure before it goes down. So big win there. Continental Terra Trail tyres, 40mm on the front, and then the Terra Speed on the back, so a slightly finer tread pattern. Bloody love these as a front and rear set. Surprising amount of grip up front, and then really fast on the back. Yeah, probably my favourite gravel tyres at the moment. Maybe go to a Gravel King if I really want to, Panoramic Gravel King if I really want to smash through stuff, because they just feel a bit more sturdy, a bit more sure-footed on rocky kind of loose stuff. But these for all-round kind of all-round riding, whether it's, you know, they're fast enough so when it's dry, you're putting in a lot of road miles, there's not much drag on the back. But that front black chili compound hooks up surprisingly well, and they're actually a protection carcass as well. So you've got a little bit of cut resistance, and yeah, put plenty of miles on these without a single bit of hassle. And last but not least, SRAM Force brakes. Again, just super dependable. I actually need to replace the pads in these because they got chewed out on a winter ride, and I really need to get back round to them. So yeah, replacing the pads. But apart from that, just absolutely hassle-free. So, oh, hang on, that's one thing I haven't talked about. Behind the bottle cage here, because one thing I do struggle with on, you know, because this is a bike I always, like you say, it's my escape bike, is this, so I always like to just have it ready to go at a moment's notice if I get that little, you know, just a little hour to sort of sneak out, because you can get to so many places in an hour on this, and even if you don't know what mood you're in when you leave the door, you can, you know, you can adjust the ride to suit. You can thrash it on the road and it's fine, or you can go and play in single track if that's how it turns out you're feeling. So that's why I like to keep it ready to go, and this is a really neat item just to have stowed on the back of the bottle cage. They're quite expensive, but this is the Peak Ninja. I think this is the 16, but they come in a variety of sizes, but that's got all your essential tools very cunningly hidden in there, you know, chain tool, all the Allen keys, etc, etc, and it just sits on the back of the bottle cage there. And to be honest, I was a bit worried because you know, gravel bikes do tend to chuck their bottles away, but I have not had a single problem with that Ninja cage throwing bottles away, so well, that's another bonus. Right, well, to be honest, that's the detail talk round done. Hope you've enjoyed kind of an insight into why I choose the bits of kit I do for my bike. Any questions, obviously fire away in the comments. Thanks to you for watching, thanks to my Patreon supporters for keeping the channel going, and I'm gonna get the rest of the riding, bit of track, bit of gravel, bit of road, because, you know, why not? I can. It'll all be super enjoyable. I mean, that's the thing with this bike, it's kind of halfway. I mean, it's a little, you know, they're a little boutique brand, English brand. So that's my build on this Vielo V+1, kind of the cycling equivalent of, I guess, a Caterham meets a Twisted, you know, super high top end, but, you know, rugged enough to play at mountain biking, but light and fast enough to play on the road bike, to play on the twistiest, most fun roads as well. So, yeah, top work, Ian and Trevor. I've known those guys for, well, I haven't known Trevor for long, he's much younger than me, but I've known his dad, Ian, for decades, and it's great to see him produce something truly exceptional like this with all that experience they've got. Anyway, that's the bike. Quick rundown on what I'm wearing. It's quite nippy out today, so mostly Endura. Pro jacket, really good, very weatherproof. I'd say a little more sweaty than a windstopper, but a lot more weather resistance in terms of waterproofing. Stayed relatively comfortable even in an absolutely vile storm going up over Vielo V+1 for Cycling Plus in January, if you've seen that issue. Oh, that was minging, but you know, this kept me pretty damn comfortable, which I was amazed at. So, you know, great all-round riding top, you know, classic 3 pockets on the back, little zipped key pocket there. Just, you know, good cut, little bit of ribbon on the cuffs there to keep everything nice and snug. 100% Brisker gloves. Well, to be honest, just because they match the top, it's not really a Brisker. Sorry, these are the Brisker Hydromatic, so there's a slightly more waterproof glove with this grippier sort of leathery palm on there. I mean, I normally run Briskers, but you know, these went with the jacket better. Enduro Pro SL longs, bloody love these. You've got a little bit of reflective detail around the back. Just a great material, this kind of weather resistant but brushed back material. It's actually a super simple cut on the legs, but it just fits me really well. You don't need to stare at my crotch, but that fits well as well. And then you've got a little stretch panel, you know, a little bit more detail in there, and that's where all that mobility comes from, is that lighter weight stretch panel around the back. And then down the bottom of my legs, Bontrager JFW winter boots. I think it's just for winter, JFW stands for, but they're a bit weird. I mean, they're basically kind of like a fully heavily armoured overshoe with a mountain bike sole on the bottom, but I've worn them loads. Well, to be honest, ever since September for the Worlds, when the weather just went to total crap. So your feet get a bit sweaty in them because they're mostly neoprene, but they stay really warm. Well, as long as you keep moving. If you stop, they get a bit damp and dank, like any kind of big neoprene overshoe. But way more versatile than I wasn't expecting. It's certainly one of the better pairs of new winter boots I've tried, especially for sort of gravel biking, because you know, a bit of extra safety for those road sections. So that's what I'm wearing. That's what I'm riding. How long I'll be riding for, I don't know. What with this virus rolling in, it's looking pretty serious, people. So whatever the guidelines are, where you live, stay safe, stay healthy, look after each other, appreciate what you do have, and yeah, stay safe, people. We'll get through this.